democracy and governance. Today, we will take an inside look at the Commission on Election and other key administrative agencies that ensure fair and orderly processes in our government.
From election regulation to candidate disqualification, we'll explore how comelec ensure the integrity of our democracy. First, let's go to the comelec headquarters. Live, our field reporter, Marlene Galanita. Go ahead, Marlene.
Thank you, Anna. Right now, I'm here at the comelec headquarters where preparations for the upcoming elections are in full swing. To help us understand how comelec works, we have with us comelec Director Queenie Naive, who will explain the background and the rule of this institution.
Certainly, comelec was created in 1940 as an independent commission to oversee elections, replacing the Department of the Interior's control. Our mission is to ensure free, fair, and credible elections by enforcing elections laws, managing by the voting process, and resolving election disputes. Our vision is a world-class, independent, and innovative institution ensuring credible electoral exercise and strengthening democracy in the Philippines. I understand that comelec also has powers similar to Congress and the courts. Could you explain its quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial functions?
Of course, comelec has two important powers beyond just organization elections. Quasi-legislative function, we create election and rules and regulation, such as campaign finance and limit voters' registration guidelines. Quasi-judicial function, we settle election disputes, including disqualification and cases and vote buying allegations.
Comelec Organizational Info and Legal Framework. Constitutional mandate of Comelec. Independent body, established to ensure free, fair, and honest elections. Granted fiscal autonomy to operate without political interference. Constitution mandates automatic release of election-related funds upon comelec certification. 2. Composition of the Commission. Chairman plus 6 commissioners. Serve 7-year terms without reappointment. Acts as collegial body for administration and policy making. Sits in 2 divisions for election cases, en banc upon appeal. 3. Administrative structure. Executive management. Executive Director, ED. Implements policies, manages operations, Deputy EDs, DDA, Administration, DDO, Operations, B, Central Office Departments, 12 total, Administrative Services, Election and Barangay Affairs, Electoral Contests, Adjudication, Education and Information, Election Records and Statistics, Finance Services, Law Department, Personnel, Planning, Information Technology, Internal Audit, Procurement Management. Other key offices: Secretary of the Commission, Clerk of the Commission, Office for Overseas Voting, EVE. Field offices: Regional Election Directors, RED, Supervise Provincial Offices, Provincial Election Supervisors, PES, Supervise City Municipal EOs, Election Officers, EO and Election Assistants, EA, manage local operations. V. Current comelec Commissioners, as of DEC 2022. Chairman, George Irwin M. Garcia. Commissioners, Inting, Casquejo, Ferolino, Bulay, Maceda Jr., Celis. Comelec's judicial, regulatory, and recommendatory powers. Original jurisdiction over provincial, city, and regional contests. Authority over voter registration, polling precincts, appointments. Power to recommend. O. Reforms to minimize election fraud. O. Disciplinary actions. Disciplinary actions. O. Reforms to minimize election fraud. O. Inclusion, exclusion petitions in courts.
Speaking of election disputes, we have a developing case involving a candidate's disqualification. Let's go live to our second field reporter at the campaign headquarters, where the candidate is addressing the controversy. Ami?
Thank you, Marlene.
I'm here at a campaign headquarters where tensions are running high after the comelec announced a disqualification ruling. Let's hear from the candidates at the center of this controversy.
This is unfair. Comelec disqualified me because an election violation. I demand justice.
Justice? You were caught bribing voters. Comelec has the right to disqualify you for violating election laws.
Excuse me, sir, ma'am, this is like an important case. Can you tell me what happened?
Comelec says I violate campaign finance rule by overspending on ads, but I believe my rights have been violated.
According to the election laws, comelec has authority to disqualify candidates who violate rules. But what's next? To explain here from a legal expert.
Vidor, case study, disqualification of Rainier, Joaquin Velez, UI, allegations, issued 8,000 plus barangay certificates to non-residents. Legal basis, O Section 68, disqualification for election offenses, O Section 261, E, use of position to influence elections. Penalty, imprisonment, 16 years, disqualification, loss of voting rights. 7th, vote buying investigations, April 2025, Misamis Oriental under scrutiny, led by Comelec's Contra Bigay Committee, CKB. 63 nationwide complaints, 36 vote buying, 32 misuse of public resources. Legal framework, O Section 262, vote buying as election offense, O warrantless arrests authorized. Fate. Disqualification case. Noel Rosal, disqualified for violating election spending ban, as Legazpi mayor. Ordered to vacate Albay governorship in Nov 2022. Despite TRO from Supreme Court in 2025, remains disqualified pending review. 9. Election offenses, legal grounds, Omnibus Election Code. Section 261, prohibited acts, include vote buying and vote selling, coercion of voters and subordinates, wagering on election outcomes, use of public funds for campaigning, armed intimidation or violence, electioneering outside legal campaign period, illegal release of prisoners, undue influence and unlawful propaganda. Section 262-269, additional provisions. Section 264, penalties, 1 to 6 YR's imprisonment plus disqualification. Section 265, Comelec has exclusive power to investigate and prosecute. Section 266, arrests only with court-issued warrants, with exceptions. Prohibited sources of campaign contributions, Section 95. Financial institutions, public utilities, government contractors, educational institutions receiving a $100,000 in public funds, civil service and military personnel, foreigners and foreign corporations.
To help us understand the legal implication of disqualification, we have with us our legal analyst, Jean Nakalaban, an expert in election law. Good morning, ma'am. So what happened now?
If the disqualification is upheld, the candidate is immediately removed from the race. Additionally, under Section 261 of the Omnibus Election Code, criminal charges may be filed, leading to fines or imprisonment.
But can a disqualified candidate still run for any position in the 2028 election? Let us hear from our Comelec spokesperson on the verdict for these issues.
Now, the big question. If convicted, can these candidates still run for candidacy 2028? Let's ask Comelec spokesperson, Rodrigo Miranda. Good morning, sir.
Under the 1987 Constitution, impeached or disqualified candidates are permanently barred from holding any elected or appointed position. Comelec will not accept their candidacy even if they appeal. If they attempt to run, their application will be rejected.
So, this means their political career is over?
Legally, yes, unless the Supreme Court overturns the conviction, which is highly unlikely.
Today, we learned how comelec ensures fair election and how administrative agencies regulate our democracy. These institutions are vital in upholding justice and maintaining order.
That's right, Malin. From disqualification cases to quasi-judicial powers, we've seen how election rules protect the integrity of our democratic system.
Filing of complaints procedure. Where to file. Office of Election Officer, Lokekal. Office of Provincial Election, Supervisor HQ. Office of Regional Director Law Department, comelec. Comelec filing procedure. 1. Barangay, municipal, city level. Office. Office of the Election Officer, OEO. Designated Officer, Election Officer, EO. Functions. Receives complaints and preliminary incident reports. Accepts affidavits, statements, and documentary evidence from citizens. May perform initial documentation and elevate cases to the provincial office. Example. Complaints. Vote buying. Voter registration fraud. Electioneering on election day. 2. Provincial level. Office. Office of the Provincial Election Supervisor, OPS. Designated Officer, Provincial Election Supervisor, PES. Functions. Reviews and screens complaints forwarded by municipal city EOs. Conducts initial fact-finding or clarificatory hearings. Coordinates with the Provincial Prosecutor's Office for Criminal Elements. Forward substantiated cases to the Regional Office or comelec Law Department. 3. Regional level. Office. Office of the Regional Election Director, ORED. Designated Officer, Regional Election Director, RED. Functions. Supervises multiple provincial and local election offices. Can initiate investigations motu proprio, reviews disqualification or election offense complaints, may recommend formal investigation to the comelec Law Department or 1st, 2nd Division. Specialized teams may organize regional field task forces during critical periods, e.g., comelec Task Force, SAFE, or Contra Bigay. Reviews disqualification or election offense complaints. May recommend formal investigation to the comelec Law Department or 1st, 2nd Division. Specialized teams may organize regional field task forces during critical periods, e.g., comelec Task Force SAFE or Contra Bigay. 4. National level, office, comelec. Main office, Law Department, Manila. Designated officers, Director of the Law Department, comelec Commissioners, 1st and 2nd Divisions. Functions. Conducts preliminary investigations for criminal offenses under the Omnibus Election Code. Issues show cause orders, subpoenas, and summons. May file formal election offense complaints before the DOJ or regional trial courts. Handles disqualification petitions, cancellation of certificates of candidacy, and other administrative cases. 5. Comelec and Bank Office, comelec Commission. On Bank Manila HQ, Designated Officer, Chairperson of the comelec. All 6. 6. Commissioners. Functions. Reviews. Motions for reconsideration from decisions of the divisions. Issues final decisions on disqualifications, candidacy cancellations, and other high-profile cases. Decisions are appealable to the Supreme Court via Rule 64. Flowchart summary. 1. Election Officer, OEO, receives complaint. 2. Forwards to Provincial Election Supervisor, OPS, if necessary. 3. Escalated to Regional Election Director, ORED, for broader cases. Submitted to comelec Law Department for formal charges. Heard by comelec Division, 1st or 2nd. 6. Appealed to comelec en banc. 7. Final judicial review, Supreme Court. Notes on jurisdiction. Administrative disqualification cases go through the comelec divisions. Criminal complaints, e.g. vote buying, may be endorsed to the DOJ after investigation. Barangay officials and complainants are encouraged to coordinate with election officers for documentation and proper legal routing. How to file. In person or via email, with 4 hard copies by courier mail. Must be subscribed and sworn to. Investigation flow. Point 1. Evaluation by law dept. EO case docketed. Point 2. Subpoena issued to respondent. Point 3. Preliminary investigation by investigating officer. Point 4. Recommendation to law dept. Point 5. Law dept submits report to comelec en banc. Point 6. En banc decides to file or dismiss case. Comelec Field and Enforcement Authority supervises election-related government personnel. Can deputize AFP, NBI, PNP if terrorism is used to influence elections. Authority to confiscate firearms during election periods.
Thank you for joining